Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds, welcoming you back to Lovecraft Country and the Let's Try series, a voting block edition. Now, as you may or may not know, whenever we end a narrative series here on Lovecraft Country, the subscribers get to vote on which series I'll be tackling next. Now, the first one we're going to be talking about today is Joe Daver's Lone Wolf series. Now, if you are an old school gamer, there's a good chance you know exactly where this is drawing from. Joe Dever made probably the best paper and pen which-way books ever put to print between 1984 and 1998, called the Lone Wolf series. Now, he took a lot of inspiration from George Lucas. We'll go over that in a bit, but he did, however, make it his own as well. And I gotta say, it was probably the only which-way books that I remember with any fondness. The rest have just kind of disappeared, because not only did you have different which-way book is where you have different sections. The choices you make at each section determine which section you're going to be reading next. So you basically create your own narrative in there. Now, Joe put a lot of effort into making a lot more detailed of an experience. For example, there was combat, and he used a 10-sided random number generator. Usually you bought a dice for that, though there was a graph in the back that would say whether you succeeded or failed in fighting. You had health. The health went to 0. You died and had to start over again. You had items, weapons, continuity was the big one. If you saved somebody in book 1 and ran across them in book 5, yeah, you could, there would be a different section that would play on your previous encounter. So it's kind of an interesting, really interesting idea. And I think it led to the narrative style of the computer RPGs now. Like, for example, The Witcher or Cyberpunk 2077, all of those are choice generated to produce different narratives, and of course they have continuity from previous save files. So yeah, we're looking at the grandfather of them all. But of course, let's get into this one. Now, this one is a narrative that's set for Lone Wolf between books 3 and 4, I believe, which would be about in the early stages of Lone Wolf's development. He's a Kai master, which means that he is essentially a fantasy Jedi, devoted to a monastic order, and has a magic sword of the sun that he uses to kill the Dark Lords, aka Sith. But beyond that sort of thing, and I'll be riffing on it now and then, it's really its own thing, kind of a mix between Lucas and Tolkien with a lot of world development. In fact, so much world development that I'm not going to be reading the bestiary and the lore fragments you come across unless we do separate episodes for those, because oh my god, you can go hours into just the lore. And the fact that there was not a Lone Wolf RPG system to play is a crime, but apparently there are rights issues. At the time of recording, there have been a number of attempts to revive either the classic or new books in the series with mixed success across 5 different publishers, so I know nothing about that. If this game is the one that's selected and we go further into the depths of the Lone Wolf world, I'll probably pick those up and take a look at them and give you my opinion, maybe in a separate video as well. But in the meantime, let's dive into this one. I would see what made the Lone Wolf series such an incredible experience. All right. Okay, so sure. Do you like the old school? All right, so this is probably is going to resemble a light novel, as is the easiest way of putting it. That would in fact be the closest analog we have in games, but it's going to be also have JRPG elements for combat and other little bits and pieces here. But let's get into our thing. Now, I've done a couple runs before to get an idea of what the game was about, so I'm gonna have a little bit of foresight until, yeah, that was embarrassment actually. A little bit of foresight until we catch up to where I was before. And I might even take a different path this time. That's one of the great things about the game. It does make subtle differences. Now, how long-term the choices are is also random. As some things are just flavor text change, and some things really matter. Anyways, let's go. All right, so we're gonna be doing easy because this game kicked my ass on normal. there is quick time events for combat, and I'm in my 50s, so I don't do that as well anymore. You are a lone wolf. Your life is not an ordinary one. You assess and counter all challenges with... Okay, one of our primary attributes here. Now, the thing is, you can go with... Okay, yeah, I got it. Multiple... I'm probably going to disable some of these tips, but... You can either prefer a straightforward and derived attack, although this is reckless, it gives us a boost in strength. Dexterity, relying dexterity intuition to overcome obstacles. That's a thing. That's a boost in dexterity. You carefully assess the details of any situation before attempting to overcome an obstacle. That gives us a boost in intelligence, because we do have stats. Yeah, the thing is, I love the fact that, like, in a lot of ways, they give you an alternate ways of doing things. Hang on a second. I was getting a bit high. They give you alternate ways of doing things, but, yeah. It really almost always came down to combat. I spec'd my guy out to be able to do that with a couple other changes you'll see here. Oops. All right. There we go. Strength. Strength. Many of the battles you fought in defense of Summerland wielding your... All right. Sword, basic weapon, axe, medium, hard weapon, slow but high damage. All right. It's going to be iconic for the axe, because if you played the games, I mean the books, you know... You started off the first game with just an axe in your lunch. We'll get into that in a moment. So I consider iconic. You're eating your axe. You are more than a gifted warrior. You possess special Kai disciplines that give you mastery of... Okay, here's the kicker that made the series unique. Like I said, they're kind of like Jedi, and they have special abilities, psychic abilities that give them an advantage in combat, and their dedication to their light god, Summer. I know the god's name is not Summer, but it's Summerland, and that's all I can remember. But you had to pick 5 plus 1 for each book that you had already mastered. Now, in this one, survival is the skill of a master, tracker, hunter, and explorer, and healing restores your health and improves your meditation skills. Let me get this straight. If you ever do actually play the books, get healing. It allows you to regenerate wounds much faster, and you're going to be taking a lot of wounds, and you're fighting solo. So, yeah, health is life, literally. Make your choices. Mind over matter. Manipulate objects in the immediate environment. Yeah, that's telekinesis. I told you they're Jedi. But Mind Blast and Mind Shield transform your mind into a powerful psychic weapon and sonic shield. Now, this is the other one you always get in the books. Get quiet. Is the Mind Shield. Always, 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 always. Yeah. Because there are a lot of enemies here and there. There weren't a lot. I mean, there weren't a lot of them. There are enemies here and there that if you didn't have Psychic Shield would turn your head into mush. And the fact they also give you Mind Blast is a good one, because that's basically, you know, Psychic Shock instead of Telekinetic Shock. All right. Make your choices. Animal kinship enables to communicate with wildlife and influence most animals. I love this one, and I always want to get it, but let's talk about the fact that we're going to have to do a lot of murder in this game. So... Hang on again. Sound balance is all over the place in this game. But yeah, so we're gonna go to weapon skill. A Jedi. Yeah, we're essentially going with a Jedi warrior. Alright, make your choices. Sixth Sense enhances your natural intuition, helps you to identify and counter unseen distance, aka I sense a disturbance in the Force. Camouflage allows you to blend in your surroundings, enhancing your stealth and secrecy. Either we're going for detecting more or being detected less. Now, camouflage is one of those ones that doesn't come up a lot in the books, but when it does, it's real good. While on the other hand, the intuition is a more common one. I'm probably going to go with this one, do the whole, you know, I sense disturbance in the Force. Your Kai disciplines, we've gone over those. For Summerland and the Kai, yeah, they're very Germanic. I mean old school Germanic, like, you know, raise your sword, charge into combat, demand respect, etc., etc. They are the good guys, but they could easily be the bad guys in other narratives. Yeah, and this is supposedly us. Yeah, we can't pick an appearance because there is an actual canon appearance to Lone Wolf. Not really descriptive one, mostly generic McGeneric, but yeah, we can go with that. Yeah, that's my story. Let's move. Alright, I think we're getting into it.
For many centuries, the Kai Lords defended their kingdom of Sommerland.
Jedi Republic.
Lords of Helgadad.
Yes.
Many battles were fought and won by the Kai, but finally came their demise.
Order 66.
3 years ago, the monastery of your warrior order was attacked by the armies of the Dark Lords. The Kai were destroyed.
Kind of a...
You were the only one who survived the final battle.
Ah.
All seemed lost, but you retrieved the Sommersword, the one weapon that can slay a Dark Lord of Helgadad.
Happened in book 2.
You slew Zagana, the Dark Lord leader, and saved your kingdom from destruction. Now, the lesser Dark Lords hunger to take their revenge. It falls to you, the last Kai Lord of Sommerland, to crush their evil schemes once more.
That was the thing I never really got. Why didn't he just settle down and start taking on apprentices again? I mean, he's got to get his order back up and running. Blood on the snow. It's like, I really like this motif. It's a bit overused, but, you know, we can work with it. Alright, so yeah, I get it. Yeah, we have to manually turn the pages, which is kind of interesting. You are Lone Wolf, last of the Kai Lords, Jedi, and sole survivor of a massacre that destroyed your elite warrior order. Order 66. You would prefer not to be where you find yourself now, in a narrow mountain pass blanketed with crisp snow, flanked by shadowy timberlands where icy winds whistle through the branches and chill you to the bone. You would prefer not to be here, but duty has called you to the remote part of your domain. You are the Frye Earl of this territory, and you're responsible for the safety and security of the hardy Summerland folk who live and prosper in the harsh mountainous borderland. Okay, Lone Wolf has a real issue with delegation, because one person cannot both rule and protect the land, but it's kind of works if you think about this game as a cross not only between Tolkien and Star Wars, but also a Western. You're going to see this. You have received a disturbing report of enemy activity along the mining village of Rockstarn. I keep saying that's Rockstar. I'm like, couldn't you go get like Dead Redemption guys to do it for you? Alright. And all communication with the village has ceased, fearful that the settlement may have been attacked by Giax orcs and other Dark Lord raiders, Sith warriors. You have to come here to assess for yourself the true situation. Again, really bad at delegating. After an seemingly endless trek through the snow and ice, you have reached your destination. Your horse looks increasingly nervous as you approach the outskirts of the mining settlement. Yeah, that's us. Also, curious why you're... This isn't the road. Where did you go? The smell of wood smoke is carried along the chill air, and its acrid aroma unsettles you both. This is not the reassuring smell of smoke that comes from the hearth or furnace in the depths of winter. This is the smell of wanton destruction. Your heart sinks. You have journeyed here as quickly as the harsh weather would permit, but despite your valiant efforts, you may have arrived too late. Make your choice. This is where we start getting into the plots. Now, Dewey can't master discipline. Be careful of the spirit of foot, or don't want to waste any time, you urge your horse to gallop. Okay. Yeah, this would be the heroic thing to do, but you're going to learn in a lot of these books, it's really better to be cautious. Even though I didn't pick the intelligence option for our character, we still have the base level of intelligence. Also, quick look. Yeah. Okay, we got that. Let me do the explaining here. Okay, so we've got our health, our mana, our stamina. This is our attributes. 14 strength, 10 intelligence, and 11 dexterity. I kind of see this guy... I kind of see that as being proper. This is our equipment. We've got... these are our weapon attributes. We've got quick attack, strong attack, combo attack, shield bash, shield counter, shields up, and we got throwing knives. We could also get a bow later on. Bows were kind of an interesting thing. They weren't introduced until late in the series, which was kind of a failure. And they were always a question mark. Now, the Summer Sword is basically the ancestral weapon of the Kai Lords, and we have one ability of it unlocked. We can, fire solar energy at people. I kind of consider this throwing your lightsaber. And of course, our attributes. Yep, healing, high level of effect, sun flows through you, yep. Cost 100 Kai. I gotta figure out that part out. If you can heal between encounters using power. Anyways, so let's get back to the plot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna think about our entrance. because usually rushing sucks. The forest clings to the steep mountainside on both sides of the trail. The ground here is very difficult to traverse on foot, and impossible on horseback. It comprises jagged rocks and loose shale, interspersed with treacherous, deep, and narrow fissures, and they are all covered by a blanket of ice and snow. It would be a very difficult route to take, but if you were always able to keep the trail in sight, it would be our sure way to reach Rockstarn. You dismount and pat your horse's head reassuringly. Then you retrieve your equipment and personal items from the saddlebag. Your horse's senses you must leave him now and go ahead alone. He neighs softly but sadly. Fear not, dear friend. You have fulfilled your duty with courage. Now you must return alone to the monastery, where you will be safe. Go as fast as you're able. We shall be reunited there before too long. Okay, these guys have been together for too long, as they're the only ones who actually live at the monastery at this point, or at the ruins of the monastery. Never really understood why he kept it that way. Being a plot convenience, of course. But yeah, even without animal speech, the Kai Lords have a natural connection to the forces of nature. Your horse lowers his head and affectionately nuzzles your shoulder. A unique, unquestioning love and loyalty warms your heart. God, it gets lonely, I see, in the monastery in the middle of winter. With a last pat of his forehead, you send him on his way, heading back to the track and along the mountain road that leads to the Kai Monastery. You watch him go until he's lost among the trees. Then you steel your nerves and resolve to reach Rockstarn as quickly as you can on foot. You tackle the difficult ascent with dexterity until you find the way ahead is blocked by a vast wall of snow. The obstruction is the result of an avalanche that swept on the mountainside a few days earlier, carrying along with it trees and loose borders. The village of Rockstarn lies beneath this great wall of snow and shattered timber. Well, the road to it, the village is still clear. Now, for example, if we had animal kinship, we could have picked this choice. If we climb, we feel it must be a better way to the dexterity through snow's path. We have 11 dexterity. Probably lose some health doing this. Or we can figure out how to shovel. Well, we have secondary dex. Alright, so we gotta do quick time events. Alright, let's go. Oh, no. Another quick time event. If you fail, you climbed up. Again. Turning back to other options, you have really no choice but to attempt to climb over this great mass of snow and debris. Without climbing equipment, this proves to be a difficult and exhausting task, yet your natural agility and dexterity prove more than adequate and put to the test. Sorry, that was a little too fast. Turning back is not an option. So you really have no choice but to attempt to climb over this great mass of snow and debris. Without climbing equipment, this proves to be a difficult and exhausting task, yet your natural agility and dexterity prove more than adequate and put to the test. Essentially, we do get through this test, but the question is how much it costs us. It costs us half our freaking endurance at this point, because we exhausted ourselves due to the fact that I failed those quick time events. Now, I'm not going to be super great at these QTEs, so expect to see some fumbling. At length, you catch the summit of the avalanche and stop to catch your breath. From your elevated position, you catch first glimpses of Rockstarn. The roof of its buildings are wreathed in smoke. The village is less than a mile from the base of the avalanche, and the remainder of the mountain trail ahead is open and clear of obstructions. Encouraged by this, when you make your way too easily down the far side. When you reach the trail, you start to run. You have lost too much time already. You follow the road as it snakes gently through the high timberland, and it is not long before you see the path straighten as it approaches the entrance to Rockstarn. A whirling gray spire of smoke. Let me check something. Map. Yep. Shows us our current position in the narrative. Spire of smoke is rising to the cloudy skiddy above the sky above the ravaged settlement. It is being carried along by the icy breeze that whips and howls through the main street. A rustling sound makes you freeze in your midstep. Slowly, you turn to face the sound, and you see a pair of hooded amber eyes staring at you from the cover of the snow-leaf foliage. These are the eyes of a wolf, our namesake, an old male with a distinctive patch of white fur in the center of his forehead. You sense that the rest of his pack is close by. The wolf pack leader nuzzles his way through the foliage and approaches you. Well, wolves are actually not prone to attacking humans, unless they're absolutely desperate, since, really, we don't taste that good. I do like the little amount of animation they put in these. These are reflective of the original illustrations of the book. Without the animation, of course. His thick gray body fur is highlighted with gold-colored hairs that ripple and gleam as he draws closer. He is a powerful hunter, yet you have no need to be afraid of him. With a narrowing of his wise eyes, he warns you that great danger lies ahead. Yes, my friend. Okay, so we had animal speech when we could actually hear what he's going to say. We just get basically an impression with our basic Kylord abilities. Yes, my friend, you murmur quietly. You fear to face this danger, I must. Here are my people. They are my pack. I am their leader, and I must protect them. You've done a pretty shit job at the moment. Alright. So, first things first. Let's... Okay, during meditation, the chance you will trigger a random encounter. Got it. Alright, so we're going to meditate. And you don't... This is a safe place to meditate. So I'm going to take your word for it. We'll get back our thing here. And we go faster, by the way, because we have the healing attribute. Alright, cool. Took a little brief nap. Okay, napping is important, especially the older you get. So, in this case, we now choose the Rockstarn Village Gate. So we're going through the front door. And it basically says, are you sure about this? The village of Rockstarn was once a thriving and vibrant mining community nestled among... This basically tells it's saved. Nestling among the slopes of the surrounding mountains. Life here on the Doors of the Darklands is harsh, yet the villages of Rockstarn are a highly and industrious community. They are fiercely loyal to you, their liege lord, and to the King Ulnar in the Summerland. Now, the Rockstarn lies silent and smoldering. Noise of its steam engine and its armory no longer echoes among the high peaks. Okay, I'm going to call this a failure of leadership. You should, have, walls? Troops? It's really that important. One guy with a magic sword is not going to be able to pull it off. Cautiously, you approach the entrance of the village. It seems eerily quiet. The smell of wood smoke, as you detected from the distance, is now heavy with the cloying stench of death. I'm going to call a little bit of bullshit on this one, because it's below freezing, so therefore meat would freeze, including human bodies. It might be that during the height around noon that they thaw and, rot a little, but I think just being, dramatic. You stare unblinking at the horrific scene that greets you. The blood-soaked and lifeless body of the villagers lies strewn about the streets. Many were cut down as they fled, while others died fighting desperately to protect their loved ones and their homes. Recent snowfall has covered the slain with a thin white shroud, sparing you the unsettling sights of their gaping frozen wounds. All around, several shops and dwellings have been badly burned or completely destroyed by fire. There are far too many victims hereabouts for you to gather the bodies and give them a decent burial, as is the custom and practice in Summerland. Now, given it's a solar-based, fire-based religions cult, I thought that, and the undead exist, I would probably have assumed they did cremation, but apparently not. And it's really, really hard to, bury people in permafrost. The terrible price that has been paid by the villagers of Rockstarn, partially as a consequence of your late arrival, weighs heavily on your heart. Well, it is your fault. You close your eyes, raise your face to the cloudy sky, and make a silent plea to the goddess Ishtar, to gather and protect the souls of the slain. You open your eyes and advance... Well, you really shouldn't have closed them. And advance along the main street, your nerves as taut and wound as steel wires. Then you hear something. It is... the sound of bare feet on fresh snow. It is followed by a rattle of loose armor and a gurgling growl that sets your pulse racing. It is a Gaiak, the orcs. Uk, ik, okak, tag, jatnak, it drools. Through sharp, uneven teeth. You recognize the foul Gaiak language and know enough to translate the creature's chilling utterance. I bring you a slow death. Bring it. Your fears are confirmed by the presence of this hateful Gaiak. Rockstarn has been attacked by a Gaiak raiding party. The creature stalking towards you is only one of the many now occupying the village. The Gaiak closes in and defiantly you stand your ground. You expect to receive no mercy from this creature, and you will give none in return. Okay, combat system. Like I said, this is pretty JRPG with quick time events, so we're going to try to get through this. Okay. I don't even know if you actually ever have allies on your side. You are Lone Wolf, after all. Okay, but it's got a good transition between the illustration models and, yeah, this. So, yeah, we'll go over this. Okay. And hand abilities, you're going to see a yellow bar over there, which is your time bar. You have to get their things done between this point. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stun. Then that will allow me to basically attack at will, since it's only a single opponent. And we have to use a precision event, quick time event. That one I'm pretty good at. Alright. Debuff. Yeah, we know what that is. And while you're there, we'll do the massive attack. You do an action event even if you have no endurance or beware, you will lose vitality doing so. The endurance bar automatically fills during a fight. I didn't need to anyways. Yeah, basically you can sacrifice health for additional damage. But you see, we're kind of, you know, waiting on this. So yeah, we're regenerating. And now, we'll do... we will counter. Or better yet... now, let's take advantage of our heavy attack it is. And we have enough endurance left for this. Quick attack. I failed the QTE, but I did manage to kill him anyways, with the base damage. Yeah, this is, like I said, generic McGeneric. You have to... thinking of turning it down slightly for melee. I won't be able to tell till after I'm done how bad it is. And this is loot. Of course we loot. We get 3 more throwing knives, iron, copper necklace, and fine leather bat. So let's take them all. Go to our inventory. And see, I think we auto-equip, but I want to be sure. Alright, great. Yeah, we've got the copper necklace right here. So it gives us +1 dexterity, +1 strength, +50 vitality. Yeah, it's... armor has effects. And we now have a pouch and a backpack to put things in, which is good. And a belt with 3 items for quick access, which, you know... pretty much is. So we have 23 knives, so we should start using those more often. But yeah, we're doing okay here. You derive no pleasure from killing, but if there's only one survivor still alive in the village, you vow to do everything you can to find and keep them safe. A little late. You turn away from the Gyak's corpses and scour the surrounding buildings for signs of life, but this part of Rockstarn and its inhabitants were hit especially hard. It looks as though the Gyaks wanted to make doubly sure that no one could escape and raise the alarm. The houses and stores are badly damaged, and the once fine facades blackened and charred by fire. The closest building is near to collapse. Much of the roof has fallen in, and its walls are cracked and holed. Above the smoldering door, you can still see a sign that make out the inscription Hankar's Store. The store is such a dangerous condition that you feel is unsafe to enter. However, it is an attached warehouse that has survived virtually intact. You may try to enter the door, but it has been barred from the inside. So, what do we want to do? We had telekinesis, we could open the door by lifting the hatch. We can use our dexterity to put a large hole, or we can just use our strength and bash the thing down, which is what we're going to do. We're going to use a charge event. Here we go. Basically, just click as fast as you can. And hope that you beat the damn timer. You give the door a forceful shove, and the charred wood disintegrates. The door collapses, and you rush into the store with... your weapon in hand. Within moments of entering, you're confronted by angry Gyaks who are ready to attack you and fight to the death. Okay, well... hopefully we can get some decent loot. Alright. Here we go. Warehouse. Generic symbols. But yeah. Alright, so... right, we just have to click on which one we're going to attack. This one, what we will do... alright. We'll do the stun attack again. That allows us to, obviously be able to, and now, let's use some weapons, shall we? How about... multiple throws on a single target? Nope, no. Oh, I forgot to switch targets, though. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, so here's where we pay for it. Okay, so, yep, just before... and we get they do our damage. We should have attacked him. Unfortunately, we did not. So, what we want to do at this point is get this guy out of... okay, so cool. That worked. Over here, let's try the ranged attacks again on him. Boo! Got the all 3 this time. Ah, ow. So, kind of wish I had a bar, though. Strong attack. Missed the charge, but we did get our target. We took some damage, though. Primarily because I slipped up on attacking the stun target. And back to the pages. So it's an interesting symbolism there. We go back to a linear branching narrative. Alright, so loot, throwing knives, 1 pine, and 2 more things. Yeah, and some money, gold crowns. I remember, we used to only be able to carry 50. It was such an annoyance. This was once a thriving general store, and now it lies in ruin. Its structure is badly damaged by fires that were started deliberately by the marauding Giaks. Much of its stock has been looted or despoiled by these unwelcome invaders. A map of Rockstarn and the surrounding mountainous area hangs in the soot-blackened wall. The mining village is built on a plateau of rock, overlooking the sunken forest. The entrance to the famous Bronin. Yeah, by the way, you want to get some immersion here. There it is. Can't really scroll, unfortunately. The entrance to its famous Bronin mines is located in the southeast part of the crater-like wall of rock that surrounds and contains the wooded depression. You suspect the Bronin may be the reason why Giaks have attacked Rockstarn in force. Well, yeah, to get the mine. You search the debris that covers the floor, but there's little of value to be found. You are about to stop your search and leave the store when behind the stores counter you discover that something sparks your curiosity. It's a large wooden chest and it is locked. So yeah, we're going to do the lock-picking game here. I'm not super good at these kind of things. Really, in Skyrim, I'm terrible at them, but... Alright. You rotate to the pick by dragging it to the left or right. This will rotate the lock. You position the pick, you can hear that. You can force it. But rotating... until you find... Yeah, you have to find the right position. Alright. We basically have to take this. Is that it? Nope. A little closer there. Oh. There you go. So it's kind of a getting warmer thing. The more further it rotates, the closer you are to the position you need to be in. You managed to pick the lock and open the lock without damaging the pick lock. You have managed to pick the lock and container lies open in front of you. You do look inside at some valuable items that could prove useful. More throwing knives, lampshire potions, which is a powerful healing potion, and Lamera bread, which gives you more Kai power. That we're sure in that. When you leave the store and return to the main street, a gust of icy wind bites into the exposed flesh of your face, and the sudden chill makes you shiver. The winter sun is completely obscured by the thick grey clouds, yet you are able to tell the time of day without its helpful presence. It is nearly midday. Yes, among the Psi abilities, the Kai is apparently absolute time. Okay, I guess that's where we're headed at the moment. Let's see about meditation. So we'll meditate to get our health back, without having to use a potion. Boom, and we're good. Excellent. Back to full health. Also, I'm thinking, let's try something here inventory-wise. Now this one recovers a lot more. We probably, lampshire oil does even more. Let's get the weakest one here. We're also gonna, have to start using up things. Like knives. Alright, so... yeah. Keep that just in case. We don't have any extra equipment to play with, so yeah. Alright, so... let's get back here. Pretty much linear progression at the beginning. You watch the main street, tense and alert, ever watchful for the signs of human life in Giak raiders. Suddenly, the door of a nearby building is thrown open. Into the street pour a gang of Giaks, growling and waving their black-bladed weapons above their loathsome heads. They are really into the goth aesthetic. You steel yourself for imminent combat, but your concert is broken when you glimpse a human is among their number. It is a girl in her late teens with short dark hair and sharp sparkling eyes. Judging from her appearance and her clothing, she does not look like a typical Rockstarn villager. Choice. Alright, do we immediately fight the Gaiacs in the open? We don't have camouflage. Take advantage of the confusion to observe the girl. Or Mind Blast against the distracted GX. Let's turn their minds into mush. Concentration. Let's get a good ending. Let's get a good one this time. You'll crush their minds. The Gaiacs are so preoccupied with the girl, they fail to see you standing openly in the street nearby. Quickly, you seize upon the advantage and launch a psychic attack upon the closely grouped gang of enemies. The searing effect of your Mind Blast makes the Gaiac shriek in pain. You glance towards the girl and see that she has stopped momentarily. For a fleeting moment, your eyes meet. In the blink of an eye, she unholsters a small crossbow from beneath her cloak. It is unlike any crossbow you have seen before. It's a drow. Okay, that's an entrance for you. I like it. Better be poisoned, though. He levels the strange crossbow at one of the Gaiacs and sends a steel bolt straight between the creature's hateful eyes. She fires again and another Gaiac falls dead, then another. The crossbow is reloading itself as fast as she can fire it. Not nice. Quickly, she holsters her weapon and sprints across the street towards the cover and safety of an undamaged house on the far side. Your instincts is follow her, for she is the first living human you have encountered so far. There are many questions you would like to ask her. Unfortunately, the break in your concentration gives the Gaiacs some reprieve from your psychic attack, and now the shrieks of pain are turned to cries to anger. You raise your weapon and rush towards them, eager to slay them all before they can fully recover from the effects of your Kai Blast. We'll call them Kai Blast instead of Kai Mind Blast. So, chains. Probably for the cloak, but I think the goth aesthetic is like universal at this point. Oh, right. Move quickly. Remember to switch your target this time. Excellent. Okay, now turn around. No. Change target. Ran out of time, unfortunately. Can't do 2 stuns back to back, unfortunately. You can, however, avoid some damage from the other one. Oh, that's a summer sword. Alright, so, yeah, let's practice with this. I don't have enough power. Okay. I guess we just beat them to death. Combo attack it is. Now, let's follow up with a strong attack. And boom. Okay. Spoke too soon. This could be problematic. Okay. Kai Discipline. Ooh. Sixth Sense. Healing. Don't need that yet. Mind Blast. Weapon. Kai Power Battalion melee attack inflicts critical damage. Requires no endurance to be executed. Ooh. Let's see how we go with Mind Blast. Charge event. Got it. Psychic powers, go! Ah, excellent. And now, we finish a combo attack on this guy. Oh, finisher. With the Summer Sword, no less. Okay. That was interesting. Okay, loot the bodies. Always loot the bodies. Restores Kai power. And restores endurance. So, we should add those to our collection. We'll get to her in a moment. Excellent. Old school gamer. I gotta take care of my stuff. Alright, so they're automatically updated to this, which is good, but we only have 1 slot left open. Iron... Yeah, we need to use more of these. The good is nowhere to be seen. You focus your gaze on the houses opposite and detect fresh tracks leading from the front door to the largest house. You escape the fire that's ravaged so much of the area, and clearly you can read the ornate sign fixed above the door, Redallion the Inventor. Stealthily, you approach the front door and twist the iron handle. It is locked. Knock. No. Let's not break the door, because we might need that. Jesus, how rude. I mean, I was like, why can't you just knock? Almost. No. Hey, almost there. Oh, we lost one. Oh well. Almost. There we go. Small things. You hear the click of the lock opening and you reach for the door handle. One twist, it opens on well-oiled hinges. Cautiously, you enter the open doorway and catch your first glimpse of the interior of Radal's house. It is furnished with sturdy tables and chairs, all stacked high with blueprints of inventions, prototype clockwork devices, and tools of all kinds. Your eyes adapt quickly to the dark interior, and your ears detect the scurry of female feet shod in soft leather. Out of the shadows, the girl comes running towards you. Who are you? She demands to know. I am Lone Wolf, and I am your liege lord, you reply, taken aback by your impertinent tone. Oh, boy, have you got some relearning to do. And who are you? I'm Leandra. John Leandra is my father. Leandra's voice is tense and irritable. It is as if she resents having to answer your simple question. This is not how villagers normally dress their liege lord, and you assume she must be in a state of shock. Dude, you let their village burn down. You're a terrible leader. Thank you, my lord, she says, her voice dripping with sarcasm. So gracious of you to visit our humble village. Such a pity you arrived too late. Far too late. Her harsh words shock you to stunned silence. You were a little unnerved by your disrespect and belligerence. You can remain silent as you ponder the girl's irreverent manners, or all things considered, you decide to address the girl as diplomatic as you can. Yeah, we're, like I said, we're like old-school German warrior at this point. The girl is clearly upset by the calamity that's befallen her village, her friends, and her family. You soften your expression and try to console her sympathetically. Yeah, coming off a tad understanding there. I came as soon as I received word that you were in trouble. I have sent an urgent message to the king, and he will send troops here to deal with the Gaiacs. If that you can be sir. A little late, guys. Why didn't you just keep a garrison? Not that hard. The girl nods her head, acknowledging your words of comfort, but she does not say anything in reply. You sense she is not entirely convinced that what you say will come to pass. She goes to the front door and closes it before she says anything. The girl goes and... she couldn't have done that if we smashed the door down. The girl goes and stands next to the lattice window at the front of the house. Anxiously, she peers into the street beyond. She is fearful more Gaiacs may arrive soon and try to break into her house. You stand other side of the window and try to get her to talk to you. Together, you keep watch for marauding gangs of Gaiacs. After a few minutes of uneasy silence, she finally relents and tells you what has happened to Rockstarn. She tells you something about herself and her famous father. A large raiding party of Gaiacs, supported by Drakim, basically the Sith warriors, attacked the village the day before yesterday. They gained entry into the village by way of the large steam power elevator platform. Yeah, this is kind of a steampunk universe too. It's really weird. But, like, one of those game worlds that's unique in that fashion does actually make it work. I mean, I think Book 5 had us using a hot air balloon warship that was powered by a fire elemental, so, yeah. Matatech. This elevator is used to hoist wagons of brought-in ore and convey miners to the floor of the sunken forest. Rockstarn was attacked during the day. From this fact, you deduce that raiders were not focused on killing the townsfolk, since they launched their attack at a time when the village had been least occupied. Many of the villagers were down in the sunken forest when the attack began, either working in the mines or gathering timber. Those lucky ones have all since taken refuge in the mines, which may well be the safest place to be at present, and certainly the easiest to defend. Unfortunately, the timing attack caught most of the vulnerable villagers unawares and undefended. You recall the macabre sight that greeted your arrival, and shiver down your spine. The armies of the Dark Lords are cruel beyond reason. They delight in murder and mayhem and know no other way. Leandra is unsure precisely what the raiders came for, but she stayed behind to sabotage the elevator. She acted with the help of Tarlar, the village sheriff. By doing so, she would prevent the Gaiacs from pursuing and killing her kinsfolk before they could reach the sanctuary of the mines. She has since played cat and mouse with the Gaiacs, constantly moving and hiding to avoid being captured or killed. She tells you she removed 3 essential parts of the elevator mechanism: the compression valve, the drive chain, and the control handle. She has one of the parts in her pocket. It is the compression valve. The other, since fetch quest. The other two parts are in separate locations in the village. Leandra tells you Tarla the sheriff has the control handle, and that she hid the drive chains in the foundry, near to the ore smelting works, a large building located close to the cliff edge. Without these parts, the elevator is useless. The Gax cannot return to the forest floor. They are trapped here. Well, let's pick them off one by one. The cliff is steep and sheer, and too treacherous and descend by rope. Leandra is anxious to rejoin her father and others who are now hiding in the mines. Rockstarn is too far dangerous a place for her to stay among her any longer, but she is sorely aware the only way down is the forest's floor by using the elevator. Or we could backtrack. You know, we could walk back to the monastery. Alright, would have been helpful if we kept the horse, though. To do this, she must have all three of the missing parts so she can refit them and get the elevator working again. Okay, so I think we're going to stop here. I mean, at this point, you've seen a lot of the gameplay diversion styles, so you can see whether or not this is the sort of thing you'd want to see me tackle in the next series. Because right now, I'm going to leave this as a choice. You can talk to her and just move on. But yeah, what will happen? Yeah, when we come back, if we come back to this the next episode, let me know down in the comments below. Should we go just accompany her to the sheriff? Because that's one of the things that will happen. Because this is about where I stopped the first time. I was getting my arse kicked on normal. Should we accompany her to deal with the sheriff, taking safety in numbers? Or should we try to stealthily go to the forge while those two attempt to escape off screen? So yeah, if you're watching this and you want to see what happens next, of course, don't forget to put this on your list to vote. We've still got 4 more options for you to take a look at, of course. And like I said, this one's got a small place in my heart. It is probably one of the greatest inspirations I had as a GM, and it really flavored my worlds because of how many... Dever is an expert storyteller, and he wrote this one too, by the way. And he definitely can handle all of these different elements together. This is just like a small example of what he's done. And I encourage you see his books in the used bookstore or like on Amazon for cheap, get them. If you see the new ones, the remakes, can't verify that they're exactly the same, but they're probably worth your time. So yeah, dive back into a little bit of the history of the RPGs. And yes, this is still technically Lovecraft country, as it is cosmic horror underneath the surface. The Dracum, for example, are in fact infused with dark energies, and the Dark Lords worship eldritch abominations, and there's also some freelance abominations running out there. And the Kai Lord actually went to the Dreamlands, and I think in book 10, or was 10 and 11. So yeah, it was a trip going along with them. Anyways, this is Fantastic Worlds. Thank you for all from Lovecraft Country in the Let's Try series, and I hope to see you next time for the next voting option. See you then. Bye.